Morning, Tom from Blueton to Leicester. Just thought I'd do my post-match review of our defeat in the capital to Milwall yesterday. Obviously, team news came out. Ricardo Pereira came into the back line with Ockley as well. And the midfield, I think we'd all been waiting to see more of Winks, James and Ramsey. Monger on the wing with Abdul and Jordan Ayew up top was, again, I don't want to see Jordan Ayew up top. I want to see Carranza getting a few games, but the gaffer picked the team. I thought the first 5-10 minutes, Leicester looked pretty good. I thought we controlled the tempo, we controlled possession, we moved the ball around well. We had a couple of half chances in and around the penalty area, shots getting blocked and stuff. But typical Leicester, and that was the biggest thing. I've said enough this season. It's the same old thing. We get the ball into the final third, where we're not creating these chances or half chances into full chances and goals and chances on targets. And it just seems to break down at the moment. We are so lacking a striker. And then Milwall then started to get a grip in it. And it was, for me, men versus boys. They bullied us, absolutely bullied us off the park. Why am I shocked at Milwall away and getting bullied off the park? We just looked lost, absolutely lost. You know, first 10 minutes, I thought, wow, this is good. Leicester's turned up here. They've got a point to prove after the defeat to Hull. And then, just get once again, they target Luke Thomas. Thomas gets exposed down the left-hand side on multiple occasions. He's caught out of position. And if Harry Winks is in around that penalty area, Milwall probably scored earlier. And Winks made 4 or 5 big blocks and big tackles to stop Milwall getting through on goal. Leicester, again, the counter sort of played the counter-attack at times, and it's all right doing that. But then when you're getting around the ball, you got to turn these half chances into chances. You got to be more clinical. Like the amount of times we have balls in around the penalty areas and we're just not shooting or not taking a chance. Abdul had one at the back post and he tries to left foot volley when really he should have right-footed, side-footed that shot for me. I know he's naturally left-footed, but you've got to use the right peg sometimes. But Leicester just being Leicester, and Milwall were putting the pressure on us from corners, free kicks, anything. I don't want to see how many times we got mugged off by them thinking we were, Leicester thought, right, the long throw here. We all set up for a long throw, then they chuck it short and then crossed it in, and we fell for it 2 or 3 times in the first half. And you're just thinking, lads, learn from the first one. You've got to push someone out. You've got to push someone onto that short bloke. Leicester didn't do it. And then the sucker punch comes before half-time. And once again, since Luke Thomas signed this new contract, Luke Thomas has disappeared. The diagonal ball over the top, Luke Thomas gets exposed down the left-hand side over his head. And well, what can you say? It's a cracking finish. Volleys it into the net past Jakob, who has no chance. You're just sitting there thinking half-time, what do we do? What do you change? Does Christian need to get a run in the team? I don't know, but something what just does not feel right within that team at the moment. And, I feel sorry for the gaffer. He's trying his hard. If, when you bring into a club that have been relegated and then you don't spend any money and you only bring in loan players, what do you expect to happen? They weren't good enough last year in the Premier League. Some of these players aren't good enough for in the Championship. But we haven't got anyone else to play. Second half, it was same old Leicester. Another ball down the left exposed. Thomas Winks has to come over, mistimes the tackle and gives a penalty away. Luckily, Jakob saves it, and you think that's the momentum swinger. And it was some ways. But again, for all the possession and all the huff and puff Leicester had with the ball, around the penalty area, moving it and, getting in there. To then take to the 90th minute for Patson Daka to have a flick-on header to be the only shot on target in the game or something like that. That's a stupid stat I saw when I come out. It worries me. And I've said it for a long time, I don't know where the goals are coming from. We've signed a striker on loan, but we're playing him here or there. For me, whoever the striker is needs a run of game now to get used to playing with the team. But, now with the possibility of Ramsey who's really looked an absolute star in playing in that 10 role, I don't see where the creativity is. James is great at 6 with Winks. Them two playing at the 6s, brilliant. Absolutely works. It does work. But now Ramsey's out as your 10. It worries me because that means either Jordan Ayew's got to go back there. And for me, he slows the play down too much. And then I need you two strikers up front in Daka, who, sorry, hasn't worked for 4 years. It ain't going to work this year, Pat and Daka. And Granza. And again, he needs game time, but he needs to play more. But some of the stuff he does look really neat. His build-up play looks neat around the box. He lays it off, he gets in the right position. The overhead kick was unlucky. And then some of the stuff he does, you think, wow, I can see why I've sent out on loan. Like the Daka goes down in the box and then he goes to touch it, knock it past his man, he kicks it too hard out for a corner. It worries me at the moment where the goals are going to come. It worries me how we turn these build-up plays, what we do well, to the edge of the area, and then the final third, it just completely breaks down. And unless Abdul or James are scored in worldies, I generally don't see where the goals are coming from in this team. Corners and set plays, we don't look ruthless enough. You got a massive bloke in Yannick Vestergaard. We never seem to get the ball on his head. I can't understand it. You should be practicing that every week, where Yannick's going to stand and we're going to put it on his head, because someone's either going to foul him or he's going to have a chance to go on getting a header on goal. But we don't seem to be able to have anyone who could deliver a corner, a set piece of good enough quality to hit him. We've obviously got a week now before the next game. Blackburn, I think it is. Yeah, Blackburn at home. And if Ramsey's out for a long period of time with a hamstring injury, this is what worries me when you sign a player like Ramsey. He's a good player, he's got a lot of ability, a lot of talent, but his injury record over the last 3-4 years has been horrific. You've now just lost one member of the squad, and from what I'd seen, probably a vital member of the squad over his performance over the last few weeks, because he's been the one who looks like the bright spot in the team with James. The rest of them, who've been trying to pull the team forward at the park. It is with the back line, but for me, like now, you've got to change it. What I thought we did well against Birmingham in the game, what really performed, was having these young talent there. Why can't Wing get a game? Why can't we go back to playing Wing? Yes, he's young, but do you know what? We look better with him in the team. Why can't Monga's got to start doing something more than what he's doing. I love Monga, and there's a lot of talent there. There's a lot of potential. But I'm not seeing enough in the game to turn games on its head. I'm seeing moments, but they're not enough moments. Thomas needs to come out of the team. Ockley needs to start more games. If you're going to take Thomas out, obviously Victor Christian comes into the fold and has to have a run of games to have a chance. You've got to change something, because at the moment, I only can see us dropping further down that table, as I don't see, like I say, the biggest promise scoring goals. Drop your thoughts in. Let me know what you think about the manager, because I've seen a lot of people already putting polls of manager in, manager out. I'm not going to start slating the manager after 10 games or 11 games now with the squad of players he's had to work with, and try and get a tune out of the football. Yes, it is very passy, ticky-tacky, what I think we all knew we were going to get at times. But I also feel sometimes we do get left too exposed and it becomes a basketball match. We saw that with Hull. We saw it yesterday at times. What's good if you've got the players who can battle in the middle of the park, but for me, we've got a lot of lightweight players in the middle of the park. Winks and James they're not Simari, but Simari doesn't do enough to justify playing every game. What do you think your team selection be for next week? How would you change the momentum? Because at the moment, we're going into a game against a club, the Blackburn, who haven't won lots of games. I know they won yesterday against Southampton, and this is Southampton time. They're on a very, very poor record at the moment. But yeah, let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know what you think needs to change. Are you in, Martin in, or are you Martin out already? And yeah, been a tough week. Being a Leicester fan again. And I think we're in for a tough season, sadly, because unless we can go and find in January a striker, I don't see that squad of players for me. Although there's a talent in there, and some people say it's talent enough to get into the top 6. I just don't feel, without a recognised striker, that there is enough in there to push us into that top 6. Definitely not the top 2.